Yes, sir. Welcome to Rocky Top Sports World here in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Theodore Fernandez and James Shannon bringing you coverage here on 8-Man Extreme. But it's an 11-man football game today. We have the Cabarrus Stallions and the Cincinnati Landmark Eagles here at the Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl. And I, for one, am very excited to bring you guys coverage of this game. We've had two already. Two to go. We've reached the halfway point of the day. James Shannon working out some issues with our secondary broadcast going on 8-Man Tennessee right now. You can catch that game. It's going down on the lower field, but we have big game on hand here, James.
I'm like Joe Hendry. Say his name and he appears. What's up, Theo?
How are you doing?
Dude, I'm hotter than a preacher on a Sunday.
It is scorching out here.
Dude, it's bad. But I'll tell you what's even hotter is the action we've had today. For the first two games, just setting the bar for the gameplay today. And this is a first-time matchup, Cincinnati and Cabarrus. I will say it is interesting, two sides of this. Cincinnati going with the all-black uniforms in the middle of the day on the turf. But then you've got Cabarrus, who didn't come in until, I believe, this morning.
Yeah.
They arrived this morning from North Carolina. So a little bit, a couple interesting, not necessarily gameplay tidbits for both of these teams, but something to keep an eye on. But Theodore, when you talk about Cincinnati, this is a team that has tradition. This is a team that has a winning history, and obviously we're getting the coin toss here, so. But a team that has winning history, and we can finish it here in a second. Well, and Theo, I thought we were going to have the referee calling coin toss here. I'm not hearing anything, so let's get it going, Theo. When you talk about Cincinnati, man, it's a team that has a ton of history, a team that has a lot of success over the last couple seasons. Coach Goodpasture is absolutely on a tear, Theo.
He has been coaching for over 30 years. He's coached at the Arena Football League, so he's coached pro ball. He's coached at Brian Kelly's coaching camp. This man has been all over the Midwest and now has found himself at a very successful high school program, a place that's only had one losing season in the last decade. But if you heard the refs talking about the captains, freshman Jacoby Mooneyhan, one of the captains, also the starting quarterback, making his high school debut today. And you look across this roster, they've lost a lot of production from last year. We're going to see a lot of underclassmen getting involved in the game. New look for Cincinnati this year. On the other side, Cabarrus.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just got to throw in there, you mentioned the turnover. 7 starters from last year, not on the roster this year due to either transfer or graduation. So a lot of young guys have the opportunity to step up here today.
So very successful program here. On the other side, Cabarrus has been very average over the last decade. Last year, coming off their first winning season since 2020 under head coach Tyjon Pringle. We will see if the Stallions can ride that momentum into 2025. As the kickoff is kicked and we are underway here. That ball is going to bounce off the hands of Caden Taylor and will be a touchback. Well, we will not be hearing the refs on the mic. We were just informed. We will be keeping you posted. I think, James, we know football well enough to be able to make do with what the refs say.
I think we know some hand signals, and we do have the monitor here so we can see whenever they're getting a shot of the official. But you mentioned Cabarrus and trying to get going, a program that a turnover recently in terms of head coach. Last year, Tajon Pringle coming in as the head coach, and he's been trying to build this team into a contender.
Here we go, under center, QB Thomas James is going to take the snap for Cabarrus. Dropping back, unloading deep ball. It is up, and it was intended for Asher Axe, but solid coverage by Noah Rogers there for the Eagles, and we have 2nd and 10 coming up.
You know what, right out of the gates, I don't see a problem with, hey, you know what, let's just fire away, bombs away. Let's see what the defense is going to do if we lob it.
Take a shot. That's a sophomore DB there, and try to catch him sleeping.
Yeah,
did not work as the pass was very well defended. Asher Axe, also a sophomore, the intended receiver on that play. Now Cabarrus coming off an SEIFL championship last year, but they also started their season last year with a loss in the Black Bear Brawl here as 2nd and 10. And he snapped to James, and he's going to take off with it, trying to make a defender miss, but he will go down after a very brief gain of 2 yards.
This is a Cincinnati defense led by a couple guys a couple guys that were coming back from last year, guys like Garrett Hatfield at the linebacker position, 149 tackles last year, 55 of them being solo, 7 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hurries, 4 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. So this is a guy that you're going to see a lot of, and you'll see him right there at middle linebacker, number 15, Hatfield.
The one I want to point out, big number 85 on the end. That is Caleb Davis, one of the team's best pass rushers last year with 7 QB hurries, 5 tackles for a loss. He's wearing 85 this year because he switched to tight end, but he's playing both ways. We'll be calling the name Davis a ton today. They're very excited about what the 6'4", 210-pounder can do. 3rd down snap, drop back, pass up the middle, nearly picked off. That Romarian Spikes nearly had the ball. Instead, I believe we will have a punt. 3 and out. Cincy defense holding strong.
Spikes, one of the guys on this Cincy defensive backfield, coming up, trying to make a name for himself. That defensive backfield led by Truett Furness. Last year, 34 tackles, 5 passes defense, and 2 fumble recoveries as a sophomore. And so that defensive backfield clamping down on that Cabarrus offense and the passing attack. That's textbook first drive of the game.
Punt is off, and see what kind of bounce it takes, and it takes a Cincinnati bounce. They will take over in enemy territory at the 41-yard line. Great field position for the debut of QB Jacoby Mooneyhan.
Only about a 20-yard punt, and like you said, it's great position for Mooneyham. He's taken over from A.J. Scood, quarterback from last year, and Mooneyham, I believe he's only a freshman.
He is a freshman.
Yeah, just a freshman.
Talking to the coaching staff about him pregame, and he basically told me that he absolutely lit it up in 7th and 8th grade playing middle school ball, and they could not be more excited for his debut.
This could be a real coming out party for the young man.
The first snap of his high school career from the 41, pre-snap motion. It's going to be a handoff. Here's Jacobson, and he is going to run for about 4 yards. So that's Jordan Jacobson, number 24. 118 carries, 879 yards, 8 touchdowns. He had 5 100-plus yard games, and he did this as the second running back.
As RB2, right.
As RB2.
Right.
So now the junior gets to be the feature back. He also plays middle linebacker. And this is a guy that staff just thinks he's going to have an absolute monster season, and it's hard to argue when you look at his numbers.
I mean, that's a tough 4 yards to get against a Cabarrus defensive line. They're not small.
They got some size, and it goes to Jacobson again. This time he moves the chains, and look how much effort it took to bring him down.
Yeah, it's the old adage that, and you saw it there. Coaches are always saying, keep your feet moving. He did it there and picks up the first down for his team.
We going to have some hard-nosed running today, James?
Both of these teams are known for having just, grinders in terms of running the ball on the field. So would not be surprised at all.
So now to the 30 for the first down snap. Back in the shotgun. Another give to Jacobson. He's got more room to maneuver an 8-yard run up the middle. Moynihan's going to go to the sideline to get the play as we have second, and it looks like it'll be 2nd and 3 on deck.
And there's Jacobson already, 3 carries, and what's that, 18 yards?
18 yards, yeah.
Yeah, just, 6 yards average per carry right out of the gate. And I love what the coaching staff and Coach Goodpaster's doing. They got that freshman quarterback. They're saying, hey, let's get some confidence in him. Let's get the ball moving. Let's not just dump it in his hands right off the bat.
And there's a 4th handoff, and there's some more daylight. Up to the 11-yard line, continuing to impose his will.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it took his average up to 7 yards there. I mean, just the young man is so hard to bring down, and Cabarrus is trying to find a defensive answer for them right now.
James, if he keeps moving like this, in about 3 snaps, we'll fully have lost count of his yards because he is just racking up as he gets it for a 5th time. And finally, they stop him for solid defensive stand, only 2 yards on that rush.
Obviously, you've got the Blackbird Brawl here. You've got the All-American games, All-American Bowls in December. And, Andrew Capps and his crew, they're always scout. These games are a great chance. The MVP gets an automatic bid. And so sideline warning here on Cabarrus, by the way. Looks like Coach trying to communicate. But they're always looking for guys, that could potentially get up here to Gatlinburg. And Jacobson is making a case for himself early in this game.
Absolutely. And Cincinnati playing in Gatlinburg for the first time.
Yeah.
Looking to make a strong impression.
Well, as a team, they've had individual players, though.
As a team, yes. And there's the 2nd down snap for another 2 yards. Going to bring up 3rd down from about the 5 as Jacobson got it. I believe we're at 7 snaps in a row that they've just given him the ball.
And it's like I said earlier. You've got this freshman quarterback. You've got a young guy. Let's take the pressure out of his hands, and let's make it to where they can get on a roll. Maybe get a touchdown under their belt, and then let him start airing it out a little bit, so there's a little bit of a cushion.
So now, likely.
But honestly, with Jacobson running like this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And here's the snap. We got motion. We got a pitch on the option, and Jacobson is going to tumble into the end zone. Touchdown, Cincinnati. The Eagles strike first.
I feel like this should be renamed from the Black Bear Brawl to the Jordan Jacobson Show. I mean, the young man, the entire drive, the entire drive was just him running.
And
well-earned break here.
Absolutely. As you saw the replay, he just thought, Cincy defender thought he could have him for a second. That was not going to happen. And now looks like they are going to kick it as we have no Rogers.
Looks like
we have a flag.
I feel like it's going to be on Cabarrus.
They're looking to that Cabarrus sideline. They just throw it. They're talking to Coach. Yeah, they're talking to Coach Pringle. I think we might have a second sideline warning.
Now it will be. Well, let's see. Let's see if there's yardage enforced. So.
Well, they're bringing the offense out to go for it now. So, yeah, that's going to move the ball from the 2 to the 1. So 2 really quick penalties, and this one.
And it looks like Coach is just trying to communicate with his defense there. So
this one's going to
right off the bat, decision. Cracking down on the coaches on the field. But well, I don't know. I feel like if he's behind the play, he could probably say something to his guys. But regardless. Hey, Theo, I'll give you one guess who this ball's going to.
And it's going to go to Spike, who's going to take it in. We had the split back formation. And there we have Ramirez. Spikes taking it in for 2. 8-0 game. The sideline warning proves costly as the Eagles are able to steal an extra point.
And I think Cincinnati had the option that they could either take the yard or get it on the kickoff. So they opted to go for 2. Little 8-man decision there in this 11-man game.
Hey, when you have those 2 big bodies in the backfield, 1 yard is not a lot of room to gain.
Right.
So now we're going to see Cabarrus' offense try it again after that. First drive did not quite go as planned. 2 yards gained and a 3-and-out.
Well, Cabarrus, they got 2 things right now. They're going to have to get their run game going because that first drive, I believe, was 2 passes in the quarterback run, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that is correct.
So they're going to have to get their run game going, and they're going to have to figure out a solution for Jacobson because you cannot let him run all over you all day.
You cannot. And obviously the short field did not help. But, man, he was just doing whatever he wanted out there.
I don't think the short field mattered. I think they could have started the drive from the 1, and they still would have scored. It just would have taken the entire first quarter. Cincinnati with 2 high-profile games, Theo, back-to-back here in Gatlinburg for the Black Bear Brawl, and they'll be at the Homeschool Football Classic in Indianapolis, Indiana, Lucas Oil Stadium next week. So pretty high-profile games to start off their season.
That's got to be incredible as a high schooler getting to play in a venue like that. So there's the kick. This time it's not fielded cleanly again. That's 2 muffed returns. Randall trying to make something happen, brought down at about the 23. That was Raylan Randall. And we are going to now go to – we will be going to – thought we had a player down for a second. He appears to be okay. And we're going to see what the Stallions can do their second time around offensively.
Momentarily, well, and I think they're coordinating our sideline guy.
Yeah, third member of our crew.
Momentarily, Preston will have a little something for y'all down at field level, killing it with the field cam, by the way.
Absolutely. We'll go to him right after this play. But first, let's see how this 1st and 10 goes for the Stallions. James in the shotgun. Takes the snap. There's the give. That'll go for just a couple to Caden Taylor. Bringing up 2nd and 8. Now we finally bring in 3rd member of our crew. Preston, what do you have for us? Apologies. We are still trying to coordinate this sideline hit. We'll go to Preston at some point. For now, though, that run, didn't do much. You don't establish much with a 2-yard gain, bringing up 2nd and long. Now you got a decision to make. Do you go for 3rd and manageable, or do you try to take a shot? Cabarrus just not able to get much going. So here's James with Taylor in the backfield again. Snap, drop back, facing pressure, throws, and that will be a pass interference intended for Axe again. And the DB was just all over him. I believe that's number 31, Peter Hickman, the junior.
There we go. Axe has got to be a little careful, a little celebration there at the end. Love the fire from the young man. But the official there saying, hey, you made a great play. Breathe, okay? Let it stay.
Yeah, so that was.
But hey, before that, the run play, I did want to touch on that real quick. 3-yard gain might not be much, but you do that 4 times, it's 1st down.
Yes, it is.
That's some James Shannon math for you.
And look, Axe had a great route on that last play, and if the defender doesn't commit that PI, that could be a very long game.
Absolutely, yeah.
So maybe the passing game will be the way to go, challenging some lesser experienced defensive backs on this Cincinnati roster. James, low snap, faking, going to try to take off with this one. Going to be met by Garrett Hatfield, the senior linebacker who was the leading tackler on last year's team with 149 stops, 55 solo. This guy's just a force up the middle and one of the few seniors actually on this roster.
Well, and it classifies as a sack, which I didn't see a sack numbers, but I mean that right there classifies as a sack. So the young man getting it done, he's going to be the keystone of this defense. I mean, this could be the, let's see what Cabarrus gets going. But Theo, I mean, so far I've been very impressed with Hatfield and Jacobson. But Cabarrus, though, there's a lot of time in this game. It's an 8-0. I don't want to sound like I'm writing them off, folks. I'm not writing them off in any way, shape, or form.
So it's going to be 2nd and 10. James the snap. Gonna try to take off with this one. He's making moves, but there are just too many bodies in there. And they tried to go for the strip. We saw spikes involved as well as, I believe that's Isaac Hatfield.
Well, and this is a Cabarrus team last year that had guys like Eli Dempsey. Hang on, I'm blanking. Eli Dempsey and Hudson Patrick. Two just hard-nosed guys, and so that's been their mantra is hard-nosed football. And, when you got these young guys coming up and you're trying to show them, hey, this is how we do things, might take a minute. It's their first game. It's both their first games of the year, but it might take a minute. And what I said before the game, too, I'm interested to see how it plays out with Cabarrus driving in today.
So 3rd and 8. Can they keep the drive going? And we're going to have a timeout called by Cincinnati as they want to reevaluate their look. Isaac Hatfield, I presume, is probably the twin brother, Garrett Hatfield. Both seniors.
Both seniors, yeah, probably.
Cannot confirm that. Garrett Hatfield, 5'8", his brother or cousin Isaac, 5'11". Have to imagine there's relation there. Cincinnati is a big place. So as we get ready for this 3rd and 8, we are going to throw it to break. We'll be back in a few. Big 3rd and 8 coming up from the 42-yard line. Stallions looking to cross midfield, keep their drive alive. 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. These Cincinnati fans, they are loud. Here's the snap. Drop back pass. That one just lobbed a little too much. So that was Hines Akers on the throw, coming in for James on that play. Intended for Colton Roof. It does not matter. 4th down, and out comes the punt team.
Second straight 3 and out.
Well, they got that one first down on the
yes,
pass
you're right.
interference.
Well, yeah, but okay.
So they moved the chains.
Second straight punt. Let me say that.
They're punting from where Cincinnati took over last drive,
Right.
So that's progress. Can they stop Jacobson is going to be the question. Punt, high snap. And this kick does not go much better than the first, although it takes a very favorable bounce. We'll go down to the 35-yard line.
That just means Jordan Jacobson can have 65 yards of rushing.
We'll see if this
Unless
defensive line can adapt.
Unless Mooningham is able to get comfortable, unless he's settled in maybe.
When you got a running back who is that dominant, you got to imagine that this box will be very loaded up for this drive, right? Mooneyhan make some throws. 35-yard line is where Cincinnati will take over. I mean, you look at the size on Cabarrus. Kieran Brown, number 93, the senior. Miles Mole, those are two big bodies up in the middle. You got number 77, Reed Harris as well, a junior, who's on the sideline for this play actually, but I mean, there's some size. Mooneyhan, Jacobson in the backfield. Haven't even called any of these receivers' names yet because we simply haven't had to. And Cincy calls their second timeout of the half here with 1:58 to go in the first. We're going to throw this one to break real quick as Cincy prepares to start their second drive of the game. First and 10, second drive of the game for Cincy about to get underway. With Mooneyhan taking the snap, we got some motion. Takes it, gives to Jacobson, cutting inside, and he will go for about 7 on this first down snap. Just making moves, getting past a few defenders. And now second and short coming up. You just see, I mean, the difference in these lines, the holes that he is getting early on, and then also his hesitation, deliberating, not rushing forward, just clean, focused running early on from Jacobson. Second and 2. Shotgun snap, give to Jacobson again. Going to try to break outside, stiff arms, and offender's helmet off, down to the 37-yard line. That was Caden Taylor, who got stiff-armed, got his helmet knocked off. Big-time run. The chains keep moving. So Mooneyhan still has not made a pass as we are under a minute to go in this first quarter. Quite frankly, he hasn't needed to. Here we go, from the 38, snap. He's going to take it himself. Mooneyhan is going to be brought down at the line of scrimmage. There's Miles Mole on the tackle, and that is the first real stop of the game for the Stallions as 2nd and 10 coming up. So the ball doesn't go to Jacobson. Good things happen for Cabarrus. And that will do it for this first quarter. They're going to let this clock run out. Story of the first quarter, Jordan Jacobson. He has been all over the field. Cabarrus still looking to really get their offense going. First, they've got to make a stop. We'll see how that goes in the second quarter. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Back at the Black Bear Brawl, I'm Theodore Fernandez on the call. James Shannon temporarily sidelined dealing with some technical issues. But we have the Cincinnati Eagles in enemy territory trying to extend their 8-0 lead over Cabarrus. Snap, Mooneyhan, give. Here's Spikes, who is going to be brought down again right by the line of scrimmage. So 3rd and 10. All of a sudden, Cabarrus surprisingly close to getting their defense off the field. Past 2 snaps do not go to Jacobson. He's actually going to remain on the sideline for this 3rd down. So maybe we are about to see the first pass of Jacoby Mooneyhan's high school career. Hasn't thrown it. He's kept it on 1 snap, but mostly he's been getting the ball out to teammates. He's got Spikes in the backfield for this 3rd down snap. Drop back, looking to throw, stepping up. He's got room to run. The freshman brought down right by the line of scrimmage. Ref signals 1st down, and the chains move again. That was just excellent pocket awareness. Senses it collapsing around him, steps up, and nothing but green grass in front of him as he's able to get himself the 1st down. That's big awareness for a freshman on that play. That's just a heartbreaker for Cincinnati. You had guys covered, you had the pocket collapsing, and there's just nobody to guard that middle of the field. 1st down snap, fumbled, and he's able to pick it up. Kind of a muffed handoff with him and Spikes. Fortunate that that ball landed back in Mooneyhan's arms. 2nd and 13, or maybe 14 coming up. There's a freshman mistake as the connection just wasn't right. And you notice the Mooneyhan, not the tallest player on the field, which you obviously would not expect any freshman to be, but Spikes and Jacobson also too. I mean, they're not even super big running backs, but definitely still trying to work out the connection there. So split back for the 2nd down snap, and there's Spikes going up the middle for about 6 yards. Going to bring up 3rd and manageable. So Jacobson stopped getting the ball as they kind of have relied on that split back formation on most of the snaps where it doesn't go directly to Jacobson. And we've seen Spikes on the defensive end. Now we've seen him a lot more this drive offensively after he got the 2-point conversion on the opening drive. You just look at how loaded they are up in the middle, just one guy out to even try to catch passes. Snap, give Jacobson, and he's got room. He might be just a little short. No, ref signals 1st down. That's 2 3rd down rushes the past 2 drives that were right against the 1st down marker rather, and ref gives it to him both times. So 1st and 10 right outside the red zone at the 22-yard line. Cabarrus, it's not even a matter of having bodies in the middle because they've had bodies in position. They just can't bring down Jacobson. 1st down, fake to Jacobson, give to Spikes. He's got a touchdown. Oh, no, a flag. Yeah, I thought I saw the hold. I believe this one will be going black. I believe Lincoln Womack, number 83, the receiver, committed a holding penalty. So this one should be walked back. Spikes had a lot of real estate. I don't even think the hold was necessary. But that will back up Cincinnati. You just saw him. I believe that was on number 10, Thomas James, the QB playing both ways, who was in position for the tackle. And, yes, that is a hold on Womack. Spikes nearly had himself a touchdown. I believe he honestly would have beaten out the defender and still gotten in. So that'll make it 1st and 11 after the penalty. That fake to Jacobson really made just about every defender out there bite. And Spikes had a ton of real estate on that one. Split back again. Look at how many defenders are just up in the middle. I mean, everyone knows what's going to happen on this play. Give to Jacobson, and they got him. No, they don't. Even on a play where they should have had him dead to rights, he turns 2nd and 12 into 2nd and 9. I mean, that's just tough running, able to just survive the first two defenders, and then that's textbook, just being able to fall forward. That is elite running back play on that 1st and 11 snap. That's got to hurt for Cabarrus. I mean, he got two defenders right there, and no reason he should be getting out of that one. Very, very talented running back. 2nd down, snap. Again, fake Jacobson handoff, Spikes, and he's got himself a couple yards. Going to be 3rd and 5 at the 18-yard line. Make that 3rd and 6. That's the same exact play they ran when they had the near touchdown that was called back by the hold. We apologize for anybody trying to watch the game over on 8-man Tennessee. The Heat are playing. We are working out those technical issues. For now, though, we hope you're enjoying this broadcast as we near the halfway point of the second quarter. 3rd and 6 inside the red zone for Cincinnati. Very long drive here. This thing started in the first quarter. And that's some pre-snap festivities. And that will make it 3rd and 11. Cincy seemed pretty confident that this was going to be an encroachment, but the refs signaling false start, saying that, nope, they drew Cabarrus over the line. Well, if you look around the field, you'll notice that we don't have a ref with a white cap, and that is usually the guy who makes the penalty calls. Look, it is hot out here. Me and James were talking about it earlier. Refs getting some much needed, breaks, and hey, it's hard to hang on this football field for this long. We saw one of them earlier in the last game hanging out over. There's like a tub behind the end zone. He's getting himself cooled off a little over there. This summer is just brutal down south in Cincinnati. It gets hot there, but this different kind of heat. Mooneyhan with a flag. I believe this was a free play. Could not connect with Davis. We talked about Caleb Davis earlier as the first pass attempt of Mooneyhan's career. Just could not make the connection. So this was actually another false start, which was declined. Different than NFL rules where a false start will be will blow the play dead. So we're now going to have 4th and 10. Big moment for Cabarrus. I mean, if you look at just how fast Cincinnati is just burning this clock. The game kicked off 30 minutes ago. We're already halfway through the second quarter. That tells you just how fast Cincy is burning through this. Cabarrus cannot go down 2 scores here, especially knowing that Cincy has the ball to start the half. Here's the snap. Mooneyhan dropping back, throwing. It's up. Davis was open, and that pass just sailed a little too high. Mooneyhan had him for the touchdown, just could not bring it home. And Cabarrus, very fortunate to keep this a 1-score game, really dodging a bullet there. And there's some of the freshman mistakes that you'll see as Mooneyhan has plenty of time in this season and his career to work on his connection. Heard Jacoby Mooneyhan was a very big fisher. Saw him on his Instagram with, some nice-looking catfish. It's always a great hobby to have. we'll see how he can, if he can get himself established in the passing game going forward. But right now, we have a change of possession. James, or no, this is going to be Akers again taking the snap. He'll throw this one. There's a completion to number 11, Avery Harris. That one good for 7, bringing up second down from the 30. Nice little out route. Get the ball to his receiver. So I guess we have a bit of a 2-quarterback situation going. We saw James primarily used to run the ball, though he did take that first. I mean, he took 2 shots. He took 2 shots to Asher Axe, so 2 QBs. Some say if you have 2 QBs, you have none. I say if you have 2 QBs, you have a very versatile passing game in high school football. There's the handoff to Caden Taylor, and this will move the chains for the second Cabarrus first down of the game. Really just so much to be excited about for this Cabarrus program entering this season. You know, Coach Pringle comes in and really felt like he kind of shifted the culture a little, going 6-4 last year after 3 straight losing seasons. They had a good year in 2020. That was their last winning season before last year. So Pringle really coming in, establishing himself as the guy to turn this program around. And we'll be following them as they play a lot of 8-man football down in Carolina, or up in Carolina, I guess. Timeout called. This is the first timeout of the game for Cabarrus. They have 2 remaining. Cincy burned 2 in the first quarter, so they're down to 1. And with 3 minutes to go in this half, we're going to throw this to a commercial break. First and 10 with 3:11 to go in this half. Thomas James back to take the snap as Cabarrus looking to continue some offensive momentum. Snap, give Randall, and Taylor rather, as he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. TFL on that one. I believe that's Ben Williams, the center and defensive lineman who made the play. I want to see some more. Motion with these receivers. I think that, short passing game is probably where Cabarrus is going to find the most success. Just looking at, first of all, the size of these Cincy linemen, and also just kind of how these receivers have looked. We've seen Asher Axe have success getting open, drawing that PI. We saw the very successful short route earlier for 7 yards. I mean, I feel like you want to kind of lean on the passing game a little, especially with how the runs have looked so far. Also, coming up on under 2 minutes in the half. Here's Akers. Drop back. Looking. He's got his man. That's and he fumbles. That ball is out. It is recovered. I apologize. That's Truett Furness there to pick it up. He had 2 recoveries last year. He has 1 now. Look at this. Just great job hauling the ball in, and then the 2 defenders swarm him. And that ball is just out. And that is just, you cannot afford that if you are Cabarrus at this point in the game. Right as you're really starting to develop some offense, you're looking at 3rd and short coming up. And that football just poked free. Huge turn of events. So you got to imagine that this Cabarrus defense is getting pretty tired. They've been out on this field for a long time. I mean, they're coming off about a 9-minute drive. And they only got about, maybe 3 minutes with the timeout to the sideline. So Jacobson may just continue to wear them out. But there's a nice stop. Karen Brown just grabbed him and did not let go. Had some help from his teammates bringing him down. You got that big body. You got to get it on Jacobson right away, right at the line of scrimmage. And look, I mean, he's going to, just about no matter what you do, he's going to fight for a couple yards after contact. So you better make that contact quickly if you're Cabarrus. So 2nd and 7. Mooneyhan and Jacobson in the backfield. Snap, give Jacobson again. And how about that tackle? Big play by Connor Johnson. Bringing him down at the line of scrimmage. And now 3rd and 7 coming up. He got Jacobson and he just wrestled him to the ground. Cabarrus defense playing with some fire, and just like that, we are under a minute to go in this first half. I was told by my producer, Spencer Thompson, not to jinx it when I said the first quarter flew by. The second quarter went even faster. It's incredible. Here's the 3rd down snap. Mooneyhan back to throw. Looking up over the middle. It's caught. There goes Noah Rogers. He's got room. He's got a touchdown. No flag. He's in with 17 seconds to go. How's that for your first career touchdown, Mooneyhan? Look at this. Just made guys miss. Got the edge and no flag there. Arguably could have been called. It was not, and that's all that matters. So that'll make it a 14-0 ball game. That pass was thrown into traffic. Rogers grabbed it, and Rogers was off to the races. They're again going to go for 2. The score is sitting at 14-0, and when you got those 2 big bodies in the backfield, hard to argue with that decision. This one's going to go to Jacobson, and I don't even think they got a hand on him. 16-0, your score with 17 seconds to go. We're going to stay here for the conclusion of the first half. That has to hurt if you're Cabarrus. First, you finally have some offense going. You have the fumble. But then you finally start to stop Jacobson. You had him dead to rights, back-to-back plays. You had 3rd and 7 coming up. You forced the QB to throw it. And his receiver just makes an incredible play on the ball and some even better movement after the catch for just about a 45-yard catch and run. And that is just absolutely heartbreaking. Looking like it almost certainly was going to go to halftime, a 1-score game. Now just like that, it's a 16-0 ball game. And Cincy is going to start the second half with the football. With the way this game's gone, we may not see Cabarrus get the football back until the near end of the 3rd quarter. First, though, we have to wrap up this half. 17 seconds. We'll see if Coach Pringle and company have any trickery up their sleeves, if they're going to try anything fun. Maybe get someone on a deep route. At this point, I feel like you got to try something. Man, that fumble by Axe really just came back to bite him. And how about Jacobson, the freshman? Just dropping back, threw a ball that his receiver could come down with, and that's really all you ask of a guy in his position, a freshman with an incredible run game around him. You know, he missed Davis on the first drive, but just step up when you're needed. Cannot complain about this first half at all if you're the coach. And there's an onside kick. I'm a little surprised by that. All of a sudden, Cabarrus kind of has a much better shot starting at the 49-yard line. You know, we talked about this staff that Cincinnati has. Head coach Mike Goodpaster talked about his success in the Continental Indoor Football League, very similar to the Arena Football League. He coached the Evansville Rage, and he coached one of, I think, the coolest team names I've heard, the Northern Kentucky River Monsters. He led them to the conference championship game. The team unfortunately folded that same year. Kind of the struggles of semi-pro football, not knowing when a team's going to go under. But he's been everywhere. He's taken over 100 high school players to Division I schools. Over 200 wins as a coach. Very decorated, and his team looking very polished so far. So Cabarrus is going to call their second timeout of the game. You know, Cincinnati also has been to Panama City. They've played some football down in Florida at the NHSFA. I was stumbling on the letters there for a second, finishing as the national runner-ups in 2018. That was before Goodpaster got there, but really just speaks to how big this program has been. One of the premier spots for 8-man football in the Midwest and certainly in the city of Cincinnati. Talking more about, you know, just the incredibly decorated Mike Goodpaster. He's won 16 league championships across his levels of football over 30 years. Coaching, he also coached in the MSFL. I'm not fully familiar what that league was, but he was the coach of the year in that league 6 times in a 9-year span. But back to Coach Pringle's team. 15 seconds. It's going to be Hines Akers taking the snap right at the 49. 15 seconds and 1 timeout. Can the Stallions make anything happen? Shotgun snap. Drop back. Rush coming. Hey, throws, and that's picked off. It's intercepted, and he's got room to go, and he's going to be brought down inside the 3. Truett Furness. He recovered the fumble earlier. Now he makes the interception, and he makes the 60-yard return. Just look at that. Finally brought down. And 1.4 on the clock. And that will give Cincy another chance to get into the end zone. And I believe the Eagles called their final timeout. Although I'm not fully sure on what team called it, as we still don't have the refs mic'd up. Man. You know, look, I talked about being aggressive. Cincinnati called the timeout. There's a difference between being aggressive and making a throw off your back foot into double coverage. I mean, you have to have some more awareness there, trying to force that. And that one of the easier interceptions and returns that Furness will ever have in his career. The really athletic junior, listed at 5'10", 155 pounds. And you saw just how fast he took off with that ball when he made the play. So I would have to guess we're going to see that same split back look. They actually brought the ball back to the 4-yard line. making life a little bit harder for Cincinnati, but they are actually going to call a timeout of their own after seeing what Cabarrus. So they wanted to see what Cabarrus drew up. So now they call it. So now neither team has a timeout right now, as we're coming up on what, barring a penalty, will be the final play of the half. 16-0 ball game, and look, this is as close to a do-or-die situation for Cabarrus as you will see in the first half of a football game. Already back against the wall, knowing that they're going to come into the second half kicking the ball away down 2 scores. If you go down 3 scores and you give it to this running game, you'll basically create a situation where Mooneyhan, who only has 4 pass attempts in this half, will basically never have to throw this football again this game. That is not a situation you would feel comfortable going into if you're Cabarrus. Can the defense rally? Can they get the stop? Final play of the half as they're going to walk out onto the field, and they're actually going to kick this. Wow. Mildly surprised by the decision with how successful the run game has been. But they're going to let Noah Rogers trot out there for a 20-yarder. We saw him score the touchdown earlier. We saw him make a PAT earlier. That was waved off because of the penalty. Kick is up. It is through. 19-0 the score. That is going to make it a 3-score game heading into half. So 24 minutes in, it's all Cincinnati. And Preston McElhaney, our sideline reporter, is going to try to gather the coach for us to talk with Coach Pringle and Cabarrus, see what their plan is heading into this second half. Very curious to hear what he has to say about just this running attack that he has faced, as we see Cincinnati's cheer squad, just 4 girls out there. But, you know, part of the beauty of the Black Bear Brawl is that not only is this kind of an audition for players to get to the All-American Bowl, it is for the cheerleaders as well. So they're getting judged kind of on what they do as we see them on camera. But now our sideline man, Preston McElhaney, getting Coach Pringle ready. And we're going to throw it down to you right now, Preston. Take it away.
All right, Coach. So obviously that game, or so far it's 19-0. Things aren't maybe going the way you were hoping. What are your thoughts going into the second half?
A lot of things been there for us. We're missing a lot of reads on offense, and then defensively, you know, we understand they can't pass the ball. They're running the ball. We just got to execute. We just got to make stops, wrap up, tackle, and I think we'll be okay in the second half. Just got to clean up a couple things on offense, get the ball moving, and just really put some points on the board.
How are you planning to help your team adjust with a lot of small, costly mistakes like that pick at the end?
Just sitting them down, talking to them, letting them know the first half is over. You know, now we just got to focus on climbing our way back up, executing. We've been working for this, you know, so we understand when adversity hits, we just got to climb back and dig deep. So, you know, that's going to be my message at halftime, you know, dig deep, relax, don't let where we are kind of get to your head and the moment, and don't let the moment be too big. So,
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach.
Well, I would have to imagine that we're going to see some 7, 8-person boxes defensively from Cabarrus, as, I mean, they have just been absolutely outmanned in the running game. 19-0 entering halftime. We're going to leave you with the Cabarrus cheer squad and an interview with Coach Goodpaster coming out of halftime. We'll be back in a few minutes. back for the second half here at the Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl. I'm going to go right down to Preston McElhaney, who's here with Coach.
Yeah, so, Coach, obviously we had a very eventful first half there, the 16-0 score. I want to know what your opinions are on that play that was called back there at the end of the half.
You trying to give me it was called back on the touchdown run?
Yes.
I believe that the call was probably correct. So I think the block was held a little bit too long. His hands are inside. He's holding him. It's not like he's a guard or tackle. It's right in front of the official. I would have called the same call. I've got no issue with the call.
All right, and I noticed like this game is very back and forth on the field, but when it comes to what's actually happening in the end zone, it's clearly a little more one-sided. What are your thoughts on your team's, success so far, and how can they continue to improve upon that?
We need to get rid of the mistakes. You just talked about a touchdown called back there. We had an offsides on a wide receiver, which would have gave us a first down because 3 of their guys jumped. So I'm happy we're winning the game. I'm not real pleased with the way we're playing. Our execution has not been great so far. So hopefully we can improve that here in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, there's Coach Goodpaster, and he's talking about play being called back. There was a touchdown called back for a penalty. But if you look at our scoreboard, you'll notice that 3 points have been taken off the board, and that is because apparently we all do not know how to look at a football go through the uprights, because I think everyone thought that end-to-half field goal was good. Me and James just watched it.
I was under the impression that it was good as well. Now, of course, the official would have had a little bit straighter viewpoint being on the field. I would have been interested to see our field cam with Preston McElhaney, that point of view, because it would have given us, maybe right or left. It looked like it was high enough, but officials had the chance to see a good view of it, and so it has gone back to a 16-point game, which is definitely not out of reach for Cabarrus.
Definitely not. And look, as that half was unwinding, as that really kind of egregious pick by Akers was thrown and returned all the way to the 4-yard line, I kind of addressed it as being almost like a nail in the coffin, where if they go down 3 scores, this game is pretty over, and all of a sudden, 2-score game, there's some life.
Honestly, Theo, I don't think it was the nail in the coffin. I think it was a wake-up call.
And that's what it very well could be now.
And now, granted, Cincinnati has the ball coming out of the half here, but they still have the opportunity. Cabarrus, can still make a defensive stand, which they have so far. They settled into the game a little bit, so they still have the opportunity to make a stop.
And
By the way, if you're tuning in expecting to see the Tennessee Heat and the American Sports Prep Americans, that game is over on 8-Man Extreme Tennessee. We did get the stream. We got the stream going, and then we hit a lightning delay just like we had up here. But the stream is going. Blake Biggs doing a great job running it, and it's a little more bare bones, a little more back to the basics. But still an opportunity to watch those young men play the game of football. So
we had our halftime break was longer than our whole first half.
Yes.
And first of all, that's a testament to just how crazy fast that first half flew by. But also, we had a very lengthy weather delay, and with how red hot that Cincy offense was, maybe a little bit of cool down now. Maybe we're looking at, like a Super Bowl 47. Oh, power goes out, and all of a sudden the Niners come back,
2 years ago, Lighthouse Warriors came and played the Pac Panthers here in Gatlinburg, and we had a lightning delay that actually was extended. I think it ended up being 2.5 hours long. Lightning was ahead. Lighthouse was ahead by quite a bit, and after the delay, Pac ended up making a comeback. Just fell short, but we had It was a great game after that delay. So let's see what we have here.
Here we go. Wouldn't be stunned by an onside kick here, James.
You could not color me shocked on that one.
It's going to be
Cabarrus trying to get lined up here.
Caleb McMillan kicking off, number 83.
I would call onside to the right maybe.
I like
maybe
that.
what we're looking at. And Cincinnati's ready for it. Nope, I was wrong.
He will kick it off. He won't kick it very far as it's fielded at the 20. And there's some room to run, taken all the way to about the 38-yard line there was Lincoln Womack on the return. It was the receiver who had the holding penalty that drew back the touchdown by Spikes early in the first half, to refresh y'all's memory. Now, here comes the Cincinnati offense, and they've had 2 very good scoring drives, but if you'll remember, their last offensive drive was not all that good at first, because their first 2 plays, you had just great stifling defense by Cabarrus. They were finally able to contain Jacobson, set up a 3rd and 7, and then we saw the first career completion for Jacoby Mooneyhan, which was a touchdown.
First high school career.
First high school career, yeah. And here's the run to Jacobson, and they got him again. It's going to be 2nd and 9 as he's brought down right by the line.
And you see the senior Connolly there meet Jacobson there in the gap. Sometimes that's just what you've got to do. You just got to, you got to plug the gap. You got to go and make that hit. And Connolly last year, not maybe a little bit later comer to the program, maybe not a feature guy, but he has definitely taken a spot here on this defense as somebody who's going to contribute in a big way as Cabarrus makes a run in the SEIFL.
Yeah, we've got him, and then also big Kieran Brown, who's just been everywhere. And here's the rollout. It's going to be a pass, and he's got his man deep downfield. There goes. Apologies, we do not have a number 18 on that is 16. Peyton Salyer. And that will be a touchdown for Cincy.
The junior using those super fast cleats, moving super quick. Just the gap, the speed he was able to muster up and get going. Great catch and run there. And correct me if I'm wrong, Theodore, that's Mooneyhan's first high school career touchdown.
Well,
passing touchdown.
He threw to Rogers earlier. He had the 3rd down.
Was that the one that got called back?
No.
Okay. Sorry, I was down at the other field, so I'm catching up.
Yeah, you've been running all over the place, and glad you had a chance to rest.
No kidding.
So Peyton Salyer, the junior receiver, with the big play there, and there goes Spikes for the 2-point conversion, and 90 seconds into the half, we see Cincinnati adding another 8 right off the bat.
What a solid way to come out of halftime, come out of this break. And Cincinnati just determining that they were going to come out and smack Cabarrus in the mouth. Now, Cabarrus still needs to answer, and they still can, but it's going to be tough. You're coming out of a hole. Cincinnati playing 8-man style, getting 2-point conversions here. So,
yeah, they've been going for them
and converting them too, because it's it could be an 18-0 game, which would still be 3 scores. But they've now put all the pressure on Cabarrus to get not just 3 touchdowns, but 3 2-point conversion attempts as well.
Well, what's interesting to me is the first time they scored a touchdown, they went to kick, and then there was the sideline warning against Cabarrus, which moved it to the 1. They decided to go for it. They got it, and they haven't kicked since. So now Cincinnati up 3 scores, just 90 seconds into this second half. And we will see Cabarrus out on the field, probably a little quicker than Coach Pringle would have wanted his team to get out there. It's going to be Rogers on the kick. The sophomore boots it away. Fielded by Randall, and Randall going to try to make something happen to the 30. Kind of stutter step, and he'll be down right around the 33-yard line, and that is where Hines Akers or Thomas James will get things started. Waiting to see which QB it is that trots out.
Cabarrus throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, going with multiple guys at quarterback. different situations. And they do. I'll tell you what, they do play in a tough conference. So you've got the Cavaliers, Anderson Cavaliers. You got the Georgia Force. You got the South Carolina Spartans, and you have. Oh goodness, there's one more. Hold on.
Let me see. I got the schedule somewhere here. I'll pull it up momentarily.
Yeah.
But it will be James at QB right here. Akers through the what ended up not even being a costly interception because no points were scored off it, but definitely an ill-timed throw. See what this Cabarrus offense can get going. First snap, going to fake the handoff, going to pitch it around. Here's the run, and there's some room to maneuver to the sideline past the 50. There goes Caden Taylor for the biggest Stallions offensive play of the day.
Stallions with a chance to rest after their break. I mentioned earlier, it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on what's going on with Cabarrus in terms of them traveling in today. And probably the first actual break they've had between travel, warm-ups, trying to get a meal in. First actual chance they've had to sit down, and obviously on defense they gave up the big play, which, granted, that was a great play by Cincinnati, so you can't fault them too much.
James talking to his guys in the backfield. I like the look of this formation. Too wide, low snap. There's the handoff, and it is going to be stuffed at the line. Randall just nowhere to go for a loss of 1.
Cincinnati cinching down, trying to close this out, get back to Ohio, and get ready for their NFL Stadium game. By the way, Cabarrus, it's Cabarrus, South Carolina Spartans, Georgia Force, and Greenville Hurricanes. I was forgetting about the Greenville Hurricanes.
2 schools that made a relatively solid drive into here. Nothing too crazy on either end of it. Many times, James, I forget that
What's that?
Ohio borders Tennessee.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
Ohio
doesn't.
borders Kentucky.
Which borders Tennessee.
It's okay.
Sometimes,
It's okay. You're from up north. You don't know Southern geography. For instance, I couldn't tell you. Well, I guess I could. I was gonna say I couldn't tell you what states border New York, but anyways, regardless. But in terms of that, I mean, all they had to do was come down I-75 and then come over to Gatlinburg. So
there's the snap, and he's going to run with it, and James is going to get a solid gain to set up a 3rd and short situation inside the 40, and I believe this is the furthest downfield we've seen Cabarrus get.
it's like I said, Cabarrus got a chance to rest a little bit. And they're able to get in. And here in the heat of the day, it will be interesting to keep an eye on the cramping situation for both these teams. Pounding back the oranges, the bananas, the Gatorades, whatever they can do to try to keep electrolytes, try to stay hydrated. It's a big part of this this situation here with the weather.
I wonder if since he's playing with any extra confidence, knowing that they're playing in the state of Tennessee, considering I believe there was a football team from Tennessee that played a big game in Ohio recently, James, and yeah, I think it didn't go so well for them. If I'm not
It's a
mistaken.
good thing none of the 8-man teams from Alabama are going to Michigan.
Well, yeah, as long as there's no sign stealing in 8-man football. So, oh, and there's a high snap. And James, fortunate to be able to fall on that one, but all of a sudden, 3rd and short turns into 4th and a country mile back behind the 50-yard line.
4th and about a quarter of the field is what they're looking at, almost a quarter of the field. Coach Goodpaster trying to talk to officials about a potential hold.
That ball just went soaring over James' head. Well, now back at the 45, and this task just got very, very hard. You see, this is not what I expected, though, James. 24-point game with about 17 minutes of game time to go. I cannot believe we're actually seeing him punt it away here. And this one actually is going to take a pretty incredible bounce for Cabarrus, getting it down to the 8-yard line, but James, I know that's a long way to go, but that seems like a rough time to punt it, right?
Well, sometimes you just got to get that. You just got to get that bounce, Theo. Sometimes you just got to get it to bounce your way.
So the high snap proves to be very, very costly, derailing what was a very promising-looking drive for the Stallions. I will say, each of their offensive drives, and there have not been many with the way that since he was able to burn the clock in the first half, but every single drive, with the exception of that halftime, right before halftime pick, has looked a little better for the Stallions. And, in a game like this where you're nowhere near the finished product of the season, that's really all you can hope for to a certain extent. Two teams playing with a whole lot of new players and some new looks. Almost has a preseason type feel, except it doesn't. This is real football. So back at their own 8-yard line, fakes the handoff, gives to Jacobson, and they've really done a good job of containing Jacobson as of late.
Well, I mean, I think they've had a good enough sample size of him to kind of see his abilities. I mean, the way the first quarter specifically went, but really the first half, it was his game, and Cabarrus had to figure out something to do there. Coach Pringle and company.
So
got to figure out a way to stop this almost certain All-American.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that I would be surprised if we don't see him here in December, right? Long season, obviously, but I fully expect to be calling one of his games 4 months from now.
Or just calling him in the All-American Bowl in general.
There's the snap, and it's going to be a throw, and that ball a little high. They were looking for a flag, but just a bit of a high throw from Mooneyhan. Oh, and there is laundry on the field, and that's back in the backfield, so I think we'll be looking at either a hold or possibly a roughing the passer. That is going to be the call. And in this kind of situation, look, we heard Coach Pringle talk right before halftime, which long time ago, so very understandable if you forgot about it. But he was saying a very similar version to what Coach Goodpaster was talking about, where kind of just disappointed in his team's, not discipline, but execution, and that's just a free 15 yards that you simply cannot afford to give up. There's the run to Jacobson, who's brought down again for not many yards, bringing up second and about 9. It's a huge difference, though, going from 2nd and 10 at the 8 to 2nd and 10 at the 25.
Yeah, no doubt.
A lot of breathing room right there.
Well, and really for both these teams, a massive concern for both of them is to get to the next game. Now, Cabarrus, according to Max Preps, Cabarrus is off next week, and then they'll play Hickory Grove Christian in 2 weeks. And so just trying to make sure their guys get to that game without any serious injuries at this point. Cincinnati the same way, taking on the Atlas Rattlers from Texas in that Homeschool Football Classic. So both of them would love, absolutely love, to get to their next games
Jake,
healthy.
absolutely. And that's always the goal early in the year is unfortunately, we do have a player down on the field. We will return in about a minute. Theodore Fernandez, James Shannon on the call. 140 and counting. Preston McElhaney as well, sideline reporter. Third down and medium, and that's about to become third and short. As we saw encroachment on, I believe that's going to go against Miles Mull, number 91, and lack of discipline on this drive defensively from Cabarrus. I mean, you have the rough and the passer, you have the encroachment, and you've turned. You would have had third down at about the 9, 3rd and 9 from the 9, and that became a first down, and now 3rd and 6 becomes 3rd and 1.
And just to clarify, Cabarrus is in North Carolina, east of us. You're correct. Cincinnati is not.
Snap, give, Jacobson, and there's a hole for Jacobson. He is off. He is going 2015, brought down inside the 10. What a run for Jacobson. Just look at this.
And he is fired up.
Just finds the hole, realizes he has room through 2 defenders.
Well, and Jacobson just not just the power and the vision to find the hole and get through it, but then the acceleration. He's shown that all day. He's done a great job.
And
I would love to I would love to be able to talk about multiple guys, and I'm trying. But when you have someone putting on a performance like this, it's hard to not mention them.
And they'd held him quiet for about 6 rushes in a row, and that streak has reset itself to 0. Jacobson again, more room to run, dive, end zone.
Nope, they're going to say down.
Just short.
They're going to say he's down.
That is going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter as the clock will hit 0 inside the 1. And the 3rd quarter, a continuation of the first 2. It is all Eagles with 12 minutes to play. 36 minutes down, 12 to go, 24-0 your score as Cincy has dominated this game against Cabarrus, and they are at the 1-yard line looking to extend the lead. Theodore Fernandez, James Shannon, Preston McElhaney on the call. And we will have a flag before the snap even gets off, waiting on the call. And it'll move Cincy even closer.
Yeah, there'll be encroachment there on the defense.
So from about a yard,
I believe that's encroachment.
About a half yard. Wasn't fully sure what that signal was.
Let's double check it there.
And that ball could not be much closer to the goal line right now. You got Spikes and Jacobson, the two split backs. And this one is going to go to Spikes, who's going to be eaten at the line. What a play by Raylan Randall.
Cabarrus with a lot of life there. That call was a legal substitution, by the way, on Cabarrus.
How? Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say it doesn't matter. Cabarrus able to bring it, and we do have a player down here.
So we've got a guy down. What a play from Randall, grabbing the much bigger offensive player. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 5, but first we go to the third member of our team, Preston McElhaney.
Thank you, guys. Yes, of course, this game has been phenomenally one-sided, as the 24-0 score suggests. But I talked to both coaches, and they were both very adamant on trying to correct the little mistakes in this game, especially from the losing side of things, because it seems like they believe that those minor mistakes are exactly why they are in the position they are in.
Well, it really is, Preston, because you look and you see this is a drive that started at the 8-yard line. You've had 3 different penalties on this drive. 2 that were proved very costly. One turned a 3rd and 6 into a 3rd and 1. And the other one turned a 3rd and 9 into a first down with a personal foul. So we have seen the lack of discipline really hurt the Stallions. But they have a big 3rd down coming up when we return. And never mind, we are not going to break as Spikes is able to take his feet. Apologies.
It's almost like Spikes heard us and said, no, man, we're going to keep this going.
He does not like going to break. You know, and we don't want to. We want to keep talking and keep bringing you guys some football here. And we are in game 3 out of 4 at the 2025 Black Bear Brawl. We had games last week, games this week. And then we have a whole season of football ahead of us. This is truly, in my eyes, the best 3-month stretch of the year.
As they said in the song, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
That is actually very apt, with Gatlinburg being basically the Christmas capital of the South. I mean, there are Christmas stores everywhere in this town. So if you ever need an ornament or some moonshine, I think Gatlinburg's definitely the place to go. And here's the 3rd and goal snap from the 5. There's the pitch to Jacobson, and they got the angle. Big tackle made by Tyree Progene.
And that's huge for Cabarrus. That's back-to-back 2-point conversion attempt stops. That's big for the young man, or that's big for Cabarrus here at the end. Just to say, I'm going to say this about Cabarrus, Theodore. No matter what has happened in this game, they have not laid down. They've not given up. They have kept fighting, and that's a huge testament to these young men, to their families, to the coaching staffs, to the coaching staff. You gotta love seeing that out of the young men, where they just don't quit.
Absolutely, and now we're going to have a timeout called, I believe, by Cincinnati. Or not, actually not positive who called that timeout. Both teams have a pretty solid argument for it. But we will head to break with a huge 4th and goal coming up when we return.
So,
go ahead, James.
well, I apologize. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. There was not. And we got another flag here.
And that makes life even harder. Back to the 11. Wonder if you kick the field goal here now. What do you stand corrected on?
I was under the impression it was a 2-point conversion, but are we still on 2-point conversion? We still on?
They have not scored.
Okay, I thought they had. I thought they
third
did.
Down and goal.
That's
from the
right.
5.
You're correct. You're correct.
Now it's 4th and goal from the 11.
So go ahead. Go ahead. You're
almost
good.
expect them here to kick a field goal. But they don't want just 3 points. They want to go up 30, and a touchdown here would give us a running clock. Snap. Rolling out. Mooneyhand throws. End zone. Did he make the catch? He did. What a catch by Peyton Sawyer. Incredible one-handed grab, and it's a 32-point game.
He had the big catch to get them down in scoring position. Big catch and run on this left side here right before the end of the quarter.
What a snag. And that clock is running. Apologies, the scoreboard said 26 in the stadium. I thought 32, but no. It is 30-0 right now, and this would make it 32.
Yeah, the problem was 2 points accidentally got added, and so after the touchdown, just add 4, get the score corrected to 30. Otherwise, the scoreboard operator would have had to run all the way up to 90 and then all the way back. So
here's the PAT attempt. It's up. It is knocked through.
Yes, it is.
By Noah Rogers.
Oh, I thought you said not. My bad. Knocked. I got you.
Knocked. Got to work on pronunciation on that one. We have a running clock here, so this game will unfortunately be over sooner rather than later. 31-0. And it's got to hurt for the Stallions. I mean, a drive where, yeah, you made a lot of mistakes, had those penalties, but to get it to 4th and goal at the 11 and just kind of lapse in coverage, allowing the freshman to make a very solid play, putting the ball in a place where his guy could get it, and then the nice hands by his receiver for his 2nd touchdown of the game. We're officially under 9 minutes to go in this one. You know, at this point, you're playing for pride. With that being said, 31-7 looks a lot better and feels a lot better than 31-0. And James, I know you can vouch for this, having played. Just how demoralizing is a shutout?
It's tough, man. Might help if I turn my mic on. It's tough. You kind of have to go back to the drawing board. So maybe some of the things offensively or defensively that you had planned on doing. There's 2 ways going about it. You could say, okay, we're going to go back to the drawing board and try to rethink things. You could think, hey, we ran into a buzzsaw of Cincinnati Eagles, of the Cincinnati Eagles. You could look at it one of 2 ways. Hey, what we wanted to do, I think, was a good idea. We just ran into the wrong team to do it. Or you could say, hey, you know what? What a great kick, by the way, Theo. Granted, it went into the end zone for a touchback, but real lucky, just kind of tight walking the sidewalk there, the sideline rather. But there's 1 of 2 ways to go about looking at this, man. I mean, you can either say, hey, let's figure out what we need to do differently, or it's, hey, we just played a really good team. And I think Cincinnati Eagles, despite the new players, despite the change, the new starters, I think the Eagles have come out here and really established themselves playing in the Great Lakes Conference. And for Cabarrus, got to figure a couple things out.
And with such a long season ahead of us, there's nothing but time to do that. And iron sharpens iron, right? You got to play a team like Cincy to improve because, look, we've talked about just how great this Cincinnati program's been over the past decade plus. National runner-ups in 2018, experienced coach.
That's the thing, too, Theo. It's such a long season.
Yep.
It really is. And so you've got time to make adjustments. And I do want to correct myself. Cincinnati Eagles playing in the Great Lakes Christian Conference alongside teams like Calumet Christian, Columbus Crusaders, Illinois Crusaders, Middletown Christian, Noblesville Lions, and Osceola Grace.
Well, the first down snap there was an incomplete screen to Avery Harris. Going to bring up second down with James coming in at QB. Clock is running, so really, time is of the essence if you want to get points on the board as we are officially halfway through the fourth quarter.
And who knows, the main event tonight, Evangel Christian and Arundel Parrott, rematch of last year, they might get to start on time there at 7 p.m.
It really tells us just not many games could have a 50-minute halftime and still finish on time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just crazy how well Cincy has run the ball and just how fast this clock has ticked off when we have been playing. We've got a whistle.
You jinxed it, Theo.
And
you just talked about a running clock.
And that is the one thing that will stop a running clock, a timeout. So we'll throw to break here with 5.5 minutes left and return in a minute for the conclusion of this one. Well, we see Evangel warming up there. They'll be the main event, James, as you alluded to. What are you looking forward to in that game? Which we're actually just going to get right into the action.
Let's get back to this real fast, and I'll address it.
And there's the throw to Axe, who's going to be knocked out of bounds. Axe had the fumble earlier in this one that proved costly, setting up a scoring drive for Cincy, but he's able to get a couple yards there, bringing up third down and short.
So with Evangel and Arundel, and obviously Spencer Thompson, Eli Cornett will have the call, Preston McElhaney on the sideline. But what I'm excited about is Evangel Christian, there's a lot of turnover the last several years. And so they've got new guys in new positions similar to these two teams, very similar to these two teams. A lot of new guys in new positions. I'd be interested to say Evangel played one of these two in an 11-man game. They've played some 11-man over the last couple seasons. Last year they played 4. They went 2-2. But I'm excited to see some of the new guys in the positions. For Arundel Parrott, man, they're looking for revenge. This is a revenge game. Even the score up at 1-1 in terms of the series between them. But they have guys like Stimson and Barrett coming back. So should be a good one.
Third and short, 2 yards to go. Snap, James, handoff, and he is going to be brought down. That give went to Caden Taylor, and this will bring up fourth down, and they're going to keep the offense out. Are they going to punt here?
Now, maybe. Now, here's what's interesting about the Cincinnati Eagles. Mentioned the game next week against Atlas, the defending NHFA Division I champions. And Cincinnati playing in Division I last year, ending up in 4th place. But, you come out here, big win like this against a team like Cabarrus, and you got to think going into that one, now you got to manage not just expectations, but if you're Atlas, you're looking at this saying, hey, you know what? They got some dudes stepping up.
And they are indeed going to punt, officially waving the white flag. Cabarrus boots it away, and punting has been, a struggle area. That ball, I thought it knocked off the foot of Cincy. I think this should be Cabarrus' ball. Can we get a replay on this one?
Let's get a replay on it real quick.
We do not have a replay.
Nope.
I thought it.
Well, it looks like that's what the officials are talking about.
Now, by the time they make a decision, there'll be about 2 minutes left. I thought I saw it hit off of something.
All right, they're going to say 1st and 10, Cincinnati.
Yes, they will.
2:30 to go.
Wow.
Close to a foot, Theo. Close to a foot.
Close to a foot. I wanted to see one final scoring drive attempt, but I think we'll probably get a couple. I don't know. Are they actually going to kneel it down, or are they going to do some run plays?
I'd like to give a big props to the parents and the coaches for these young men, bringing them up here, a special event that they'll never forget. They can say, hey, I played in Gatlinburg. We get to kick our season off here. What a special opportunity for all these young men and their families. So big shout out to the parents.
That was the run to freshman Luke Snot. Was that? No, that was Ethan Kyle, Jr.
And real quick, as a former big guy myself, while we got a minute and a half, real quick, Theo, if you don't mind, I'm going to run through some of the big guy names that maybe we didn't call today. Peter Hickman, Luke Snyder, Leland Davis, Jackson Bata, Jacob Hickman, Aiden Cook, Ace Meckley, Adam Parker, Ben Williams, Cameron Leggett, Lincoln Womack, and Josh Gibbons.
There's the snap.
For Cincinnati.
Give back. And we've got a flag on the field as Kyle was trying to run with that ball. And that's going to be a holding, which will move them back. Not that it has much of any effect, and we are only probably going to have one final snap in this game as we're under 50 seconds. And now with the injury, guy down.
Well, this is actually perfect, Theo. Real quick, I want to run through the big guys for Cabarrus.
Absolutely.
Sully Coleman, Amari Franklin, Connor Johnson, Landon Hardy, Reed Harris, Amarian Pittman, Caleb McMillan, Jack Bansimer, Nashawn Thomas, Colton Roof, Miles Mull, and K'Ron Brown. I think we mentioned K'Ron earlier.
K'Ron Brown has had some very big tackles. I mean, that guy's a force.
But you got to give
some big plays on Jacobson today.
But you got to give the big guys some shit. The big boys in the trenches getting the work done, as our colleague Brendan Daniel likes to say. The game is won and lost in the trenches. And Cincinnati's trenches handled business today, making those we can talk all day about Jacobson, and he did a great job, but he had some good holes to run through with that Cincinnati offensive line. So big shout out to him.
Some big boys blocking for him, and it was very beneficial. So now with 45 seconds left, coming off a guy getting hurt, I believe we're just going to see a kneel down here, as they are in victory formation. How's that for an ending to the first game of Jacoby Mooneyhan's career? Ending it with kneel down.
Nothing like going 1-0 as a freshman, Theodore.
Does a little celebration. That's got to feel good. You see. So as the final 17 seconds tick off the clock, it was all Cincinnati all day. Not even a weather delay could stop the Eagles from soaring. For Cabarrus, back to the drawing board. 31-0 loss, and there is our final Horn players going to shake hands.
And I love that. I love this. Coach Goodpaster right out front to shake the opposing team's hands. Give him a high five, leading his team.
Love to see that. Love to see the sportsmanship. Hard-fought game.
Wow. It got me choked up, Theo. I'm thinking about the sportsmanship. You said that. A lot of sportsmanship on this field today with this game. Another big shout out to these young men, their families, the coaches. Not just the fight that they showed all day, the sportsmanship. It was great to see a good, clean football game.
Well, we want to thank everyone for tuning into this one. We want to thank our whole production crew. Brett and Daniel on camera. We got Spencer Thompson producing, Eli Cornett coming off. Coaching a game earlier today, came in and directed. We have Preston McElhaney down on the field, who will be back in. We'll go to him in a minute for his interview of
unless you forget,
the team MVP.
Unless you forget.
My memory is sharp, man. I don't forget.
Well, okay, so who haven't you mentioned?
You.
No. Blake Biggs running the stream down at the lower field between the Tennessee Heat and ASP Americans.
I forget, man.
That game should be wrapping up here in a little bit, so big shout out to him. So,
got to give a shout out to Blake. Almost forgot. Blake's done an excellent job on him on sideline cam earlier, man. I was directing and I was
nailing it.
Easiest directing job ever. He was giving me every shot. And of course, James Shannon, color commentating with me. We see the players all gathered around. I think we probably know who the MVP is. Got to give a shout out to, of course, the freshman QB, but also Peyton Salyer, who 2 touchdown catches, including that one-handed snag later on.
Mooneyham, 2 touchdown throws.
Yes. But we know who this is going to.
Let's see.
They've got the chain.
Who's getting the automatic bid?
It was Salyer. Wow, I was honestly.
You got it.
I was half expecting it to be Jacobson, but man, Salyer really, really came on later in the game. Also saw him on the field a little defensively, and man, that last catch, that's one for the highlight reel. See him with his team there, and they talked about it being a new age for Cincinnati, and they talked about all the new players that would have to come in and have impactful roles on this team, and went without a hitch today. And man, you look at this roster.
Peyton Sawyer's on the PA system here, addressing the crowd, giving his team a big thank you and a shout out.
And we'll be hearing from with Preston in a minute too.
Momentarily, yeah.
But just, you look at this team. You got Garrett Hatfield, who was sensational today up in the middle. He's one of the only seniors that we called all day. This team, the vast majority is going to be returning next year.
This team has got some great young men making a run in the Great Lakes Christian Conference, taking on a good team next week in Indianapolis, and they got a bright future ahead of them.
They certainly do.
And for Cabarrus, massive props making the drive over here. I know it was tough coming in on game day, but a big shout out to everyone who supported them coming up here playing this game.
It's incredible, though, getting to play a game at Lucas Oil. Quite frankly, I think if Mooneyham plays good enough, he could probably challenge Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson for that QB1 job.
There might be some – might seem to be some contract issues, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, the kid's probably 15. I think child labor rules might.
Maybe Nathan Peterman, yeah.
I'm not taking Nathan Peterman's slander. Daniel Jones slander, on the other hand, you can talk anything you want about him. My producer right now is just trying. Eli Cornett is just trying to talk
our director running through quarterbacks in the interview.
And I think we've stalled enough, and I think that Preston McElhaney is getting ready for his interview with Salyer. And
it looks like Coach is going to talk to his team. Let's step aside for just a minute. Let the coach talk to his team, and then we'll get this post-game interview.
Back at the Black Bear Brawl, where Cincy just finished a 31-0 win, and down on the field, Preston McElhaney with the game MVP, Peyton Salyer.
Absolutely. We got Mr. MVP himself here, man. You got to be feeling good after quite a win, 31-0. That's no small feat. And you got to do most valuable player, so you get an automatic bid into the All-American team. You must be feeling great right now.
I'm feeling great. I just give it all to my team. Couldn't have done it without them, especially my QB, Jacoby Mooneyhan. Give it all to him and my whole entire O-line and my whole offense.
What was your reaction in the start when things started picking up steam? Did you have a lot of confidence that you were going to come away with it?
Oh, yeah. From first snap, I had confidence that we were going to pull away and beat them 31-0.
Confidence, that's the way to do it. Thank you, man. Back to you, Spencer.
From the first snap, they had confidence. That basically sums up everything we watched over 48 minutes here. Pure annihilation in Gatlinburg. The Cincinnati Eagles 31, the Cabarrus Stallions 0. We are through 3 games at the 2025 Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl. We've had a great time covering football. When we return, the nightcap, the main event. Thank you all for tuning in. For my incredible production crew, I'm Theodore Fernandez. We will see you for the final game.